Hello once again. A lovely dull November morning to you guys. It's rather cold and windy out here. Anyway, I promised you a little analysis on the video about THBC Badminton Club where I explained what's been going on there. I don't know, I think I've been disadvantaged by my parents when they taught me that I shouldn't lie and cheat all the time, and that I shouldn't ask for things I haven't earned. Anyway, while at that club, they always thought that they were helping me by letting me stay and play. I always thought I was helping them, trying to do things as honestly and with dignity as much as possible. In the letter to me when they told me to leave, they told me I was being dishonorable. I want to tell you a little story. A couple of years ago, there was a guy who was unhappy about a little decision with his secretary at the time, who was also responsible for what goes on the courts. For whatever reason, he was unhappy and he used the word F off to him. They held a meeting and they decided they were going to punish him for using such foul language. So I said, look, I think it's also important that you address why he might have actually said F off. They came to the hall and they brought him over, and they brought other people around, and they explained that it was very rude of him to actually say F off for whatever reason, without going into why he would have said that, and they suspended him for 2 weeks. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when you're playing badminton, adrenaline is pumping, you get angry, and a lot of people use F off all the time. And if you can't handle a bit of F off, then you should F off. I hope you get my gist. Now, I'll explain to you how many times they have said F off to people. I have to give them credit for understanding the shallow minds of the community, because the ex-chairman and the secretary complemented each other so well in running the place with sticks and carrots. You had the chairman having his cronies in the committee, while you had the secretary having his cronies on the court, because he was in charge of who gets to play where. Now, a lot of the people in the club have now come to understand that me going out there speaking out about the problems have brought shame on them, and that is enough to make them think that I'm in the wrong. Let me start with the guy who was responsible for the shuttle misuse that we talked about in the previous video. He was the guy who consumed all the best that the club had to offer, didn't want to spend the time with kids. He was also the captain of the first team. When he realized he didn't have the quality of the players in the club that he expected, he started bringing players from outside just to play in the league. And these players were not turning up to the club sessions. So after a few years of that going on, people were talking about it, so we held a meeting and we decided, look, these guys have to come into the club at least once a month. Of course, even that wasn't enough really, but it was something. That didn't happen. Nobody could do anything about that. After I brought in the kids to the club, only twice in 2015, of course they actually agreed to give me responsibility of handling the kids. Of course not giving me any time from the club, which we talked about. So he wasn't happy that these kids were actually taking up court time. Maybe other people complained to him as well. He was the secretary, so he decided to hold a meeting. And he came to the meeting I've told you about, and he said, you know, we can't let him decide on bringing the kids to the club because this is not a kids session. And everybody said, yeah. I understand it. 2 weeks later, of course, he takes some of his cronies and goes on a court, plays a couple of games. So I start complaining, what's going on here? You know, who's going to tell him now? Nobody does anything. You know, you would have expected some kind of management reaction to that, but no, it doesn't happen. I don't understand all that. So, with the chairman, similar sort of thing. You know, he'd always say that, you know, I just go along with the majority decision, a majority that he built up over the years, of course. Every time we have an event, he's the guy with the microphone from the start to the end. So it's clear that it is what he wanted, not what the majority wanted, because two of the guys who's in the committee hasn't played badminton for about 10 years. And somehow they seem to turn up to all these special meetings. I think by now it is pretty clear to most people as to what's been going on there. I actually didn't have any idea about a lot of these things until recently when I started digging. I just trusted people. I didn't need to dig into too much, you know, we're all doing this on a voluntary basis, just trying to play some badminton, have some fun. For these guys, it's like a gold mine. For me, it's just something we're doing as a community. Yes, obviously we're trying to compete and have the best games as much as possible, but it's more important to me that we actually do things honestly. These guys got together and decided that it didn't matter what people were going to say or do, whether they talked about the funding or the shuttle misuse or why there are no kids in this place, etc. They were going to protect each other, and they've controlled management very well. Now, I'm out to change things, guys. I wanted to make sure that theirs is not the only message out there. And I will be producing a lot of videos, I'll be discussing a lot of things, and this is not over by any means. Unfortunately, a lot of these things take time. You know, do you think they won this? Who's the winner here? Who's lost? I think everybody's lost something. I hope we change, guys.